I just recorded like 5 seconds without my hat on because I forgot? No. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. I hope that you're having a wonderful one out there. It is going to be a wondrous one. Today we are listening to a full album. We're doing a full album reaction to Van de Graaf. It's technically Van de Graaf, but we're going to say Van de Graaf Generator just for the sake of being consistent. The Quiet Zone / The Pleasure Dome. This is going to be their 8th studio album, released in 1977. We're listening to this album because it was suggested and sponsored by David. David, thank you so much for the support. Really, really appreciate the overwhelming support on this one, and absolutely for the suggestion as well. I see that it was also recommended by Stuart Thomas, Mark Kiesla, Lemming, Ken L, Martin Lemons, Paul Hughes, PJ Prague, Joe Sturck Stroffel, L Wise, the list is going on, Jay Kirby, DeLorean Gyad, Pentagrammington, you mentioned at this one at least, and Cat Dub, and the list goes on and on and on. Even 5 years ago, Red Pill Mode. So thank you guys so much for the suggestion and the recommendation. Now, I actually have some solo Peter Hamill coming on like later next month as well. But today we're going to listen to kind of the full band because I couldn't help but see that this is... For this album, I'm just reading really quick the personnel before we dive in. For this album, bassist Nick Potter returned to the band, having left in 1970, and violinist Graham Smith also joined the lineup, in place of the 2 members who had departed after World Record, which we listened to, Hugh Banton and David Jackson. Those are huge losses. Those, at least in my mind right now, those are very big losses to the band's like sound. And I mean, that organ and saxophone combo from them is a huge part of their personality. But I'm really curious to see what the new members have here. So you're going to have Graham Smith on violin, obviously Nick Potter on bass. And I do see at least that Jackson is featured on a few of the songs. So it's not completely gone. But I'm excited to dive into this. So I hope that you guys, almost spilled my tea, are as well. I'll put all the plugs here in the beginning. You can like the video. I'd really appreciate if you did that. The Buy Me a Coffee is available. If you have a request and you want to push it up the line just like an album request like this, you can do so as well. Just check it out over there. And Patreon for exclusive content. I'm going to be sipping on my Pinaline tea, which if you've never heard of Pinaline tea, if for lack of a better word, if you need help with regularity but immediate results, try that out. It's a good, for lack of a better word, cleanser. If you're ever interested, just drink this tea, and within about 6 hours or so, you'll be that's what it looks like, by the way, in case you're interested. Not sponsored. In case if you have a bunch of big meals and you want to cleanse yourself the next day, that will do the trick. So let's go ahead and dive into the album with the first track here, which is going to be Lizard Play, which occasionally I look outside and I see the lizards playing out there. And by playing, I mean, they're playing. My. This first sip of Pinaline tea is to you. Here we go.
Frozen moments, cold blood time. Iguana lady is saying goodbye. She's not quite ready, she wants to stay. She wants to be perfect, but not in a way. So he tries to be cautious, one more cigarette. He wants to be open, but the time is not yet. They talk about poetry, life stories too. He wants to know if she keeps a pet or two. She's into lizards, she's into snakes. He's into drama, still got the shakes. From a lady who only talked dogs and cats, making love in the alley. She thought like that, so he doesn't notice he's falling into a change in color. alien skin.
This is definitely different from what I would expect. There's that bass string.
And the sun beats down on the baking earth in the land where the lizards play. And the tongues flick out though they want to touch. All the words get in the way. And it's you and me, and it's he and she, and it's everything I say.
I can't follow any of that.
Frozen vision, step aside. Still trying to work out what I've become. I tried to reach you, I tried to score. I shot the bolt on the open door. The secret reaction, they smelled to gold. And all that I felt was my blood froze. I walked on water, I was wearing skis. And now the water must dance on me.
It almost reminds me of like later Jethro Tull a little bit.
Anyway, all that. Will you dance with me? Will you dance with me? And the sun beats down on the baking earth in the land where the lizards play. And they shed their skins and at last begin to find colors for the day.
Love how he incorporated snare rolls and stuff.
Will you dance with me? Will you dance with me? Dance with me. Will you dance with me? Dance with me.
Just crashing down.
Will you dance with me? Dance with me. Will you dance with me? Dance with me.
The opening track is so rhythmically complex. Like it is, for me at least, I can't speak for you, but for myself, it is so hard to follow along with most of it before Evans kind of puts down, like for example, when he gets into the chorus, that swing, the before it gets into that, the drumming and the hits, they almost come across, I know they're not random, but it's just hard to follow along. But what an interesting like opening track here. We have Peter more subdued for the most part before near the end where you really get that guttural, monstrous kind of tone from him, which I really love when he gets into that. But before that, it's a lot more subtle, even in its total approach of the music. A lot of this reminded me of like kind of later Jethro Tull, in a sense. Like the saxophone is almost playing in a gong, but to me kind of Jethro Tull kind of space to an extent. The guitar has a little bit of a more sparse, folky kind of vibe to it. And even the addition here of the violin, performed, like I said, by Graham Smith, to me it brings across some sort of graceful folk kind of melody and sound to the music, which I think is really interesting. Because gone, obviously, are the darker undertones of the organ, right? That is a huge thing and a huge part of Van de Graaf. But here, that's gone and replaced by something, at least so far, maybe elegant isn't the exact word to use, but seemingly in that space, while still, keeping to who Van de Graaf Generator are to an extent, and keeping their characteristics. This is an interesting track because it's a lot lighter than what I'm used to as well from Van de Graaf. I was literally just listening to Still Life maybe 2 or 3 days ago on the car ride home from work, which I think is my favorite album from the band. And this is so completely, removed and different than that. but still very, very interesting. It reminds me a little bit of King Crimson to an extent in this particular track. Let's dive into these lyrics here, talking about these lizards. Frozen moments, a cold blood time. The iguana lady is saying goodbye. She's not quite ready. She wants to stay. She wants to be perfect, but not in the way. So he tries to be cautious. One more cigarette. He wants to be open, but the time is not yet. They talk about poetry, life stories too. He wants to know if she keeps a pet or two. She's into lizards. She's into snakes. He's into trauma. Still got the shakes. From a lady who only talked dogs and cats, making love in the alley, she thought like that. So he doesn't notice he's falling in to a change in color of chameleon skin. That's such a great line. He doesn't even realize he's adjusting his colors. He's adjusting his personality to fit into the this particular space he's in, to fit into her space. And the sun beats down on the baking earth and the land where the lizards play, and the tongues flick out, though they want to touch, all the words get in the way. And it's you and me, and it's he and she, and it's everything I say. Frozen vision, deaf and dumb, still trying to work out what I've become. There's the change. I've tried to reach you, I've tried to score, I shot the bolts on the open door. The secret reaction based metal to gold, and all that I felt was my blood froze. I walked on water, I was wearing skis, and now the water must dance on me. Anyway, for all that, will you dance with me? Will you dance with me? They shed their skins at last to find the colors for the day. I really view this as, honestly, maybe I'm simplifying this. I view this as like Hamill's poetic take on dating and a first date and trying to adjust your colors towards each other, trying to change your camouflage so you fit in to the particular scenario and scene that you're in. And then eventually, perhaps, the lizards may dance. The lizards may play, wrapping their tails around each other and so on and so forth. At least that's how I read this. That's how I'm reading this. That kind of cold-blooded lizard mentality, that reptile mentality, that kind of thing. Herpetology. Let's go and listen to the next track here, which is The Habit, that's the study of reptiles, which is The Habit of the Broken Heart. Here we go. Have to, but I'm glad you did.
Oh, the sisters of blindness, from the convent of a broken heart, they wanna smother it with kindness, they wanna tear it all apart. Under a rock of sterile virtue,
Just a strong groove.
in the center of the bay, I'm so sorry he hurt you, but don't throw yourself away.
Potter's bass there. Super interesting.
You only wanted to have some fun. You only wanted to try it. You only wanted to be someone. But everybody denies it. Why is it so hard to make
Nice
you listen?
run.
Don't go and change your name. Learning to lose can be the start of winning the game.
Love Potter's bass line there.
You're so special, such sadness seems a shame. I know that you got a service to catch, I wouldn't want you to miss it. But there's something so
violin came out of there really nice. I love the violin just going.
By the light of the sinking sun, don't turn your back on the treasure. Whether or not you wanna face it, you're a beautiful girl.
Oh,
And your lady locker
this is the
has
one.
the right to be heard. But what can I give you if you've already got the word?
It's a good line. Oh, now this track, this one had a groove to it the whole time. And when Potter hit that bass line from the halfway point when the music changed and sped up, but he was hitting that bass and he got into that groove that ba da 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 ba da 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 da, and he boom 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 da 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 ba da da da. That was just such a sensational moment, and the way that the tempo had changed to that moment was really, really fantastic. The way that Potter settles into the groove, Evans, his drumming is a huge standout here. And I really think that them two particular, Potter and Evans, their rhythm section in this track is so well shown off. Because this one's much more approachable, right? This one's much more streamlined, approachable. You can kind of snap into it relatively quickly. But for example, with Evans, the way that he incorporates some of the fills, the way that he incorporates the kick into the groove as well, I feel like it still gives you that something's like very uniquely progressive about how they're playing. And it's just really, really fantastic. Hamill taking, once again, a much more subtle, calm approach this time in his lyrics as he just kind of soulfully coos through this music, through this track, which I would argue that the rhythm section in particular here, and to an extent some of the melodies floating through, had kind of a R&B kind of atmosphere to it. And I would not be remiss if you were to perhaps take out Hamill and incorporate someone in there like, I don't know, just like a soul singer, and you could arguably have another really great R&B song here. So that's really cool how you're getting, such different personality out of the band here at this point, of course, with those changes happening between them as well. This is a really cool track, and I love the tension that the violin playing brings here from Graham. There's something really cool about this album. So far, I'm enjoying it. The last full album we listened to from Van de Graaf, was it World Record? No, I think we went earlier. I think with Refugees maybe. But like if we're thinking like this album, this came after World Record. So World Record, I didn't love it. This album, we're only on the second track, but so far I'm enjoying it a little bit more than World Record, at least a little bit. But honestly, I'd have to give World Record again. It's been a little bit since I've listened to it. Oh, the Sisters of Blindness from the Convent of the Broken Heart. They want to smother it with kindness. They want to tear it all apart. And there's a rock of sterile virtue in the center of the bay. I'm so sorry he hurt you, but don't throw yourself away. You only wanted to have some fun. You only wanted to try it. You only wanted to be someone, but everybody denies it. Why is it so hard to make you listen? Don't go and change your name. Learning to lose can be the start of winning the game. That's a great line. You're so special, such sadness seems a shame. I like this. This isn't a very encouraging song. I know that you've got a service to catch. I wouldn't want you to miss it. But there's something so mismatched, some motive inexplicit. Is it the call of the convent? And then it repeats from there. You only wanted to find someone or something more than pleasure. Penitence for the chosen one you can indulge at leisure. By the light of the sinking sun, don't turn your back on the treasure. Whether or not you want to face it, you're a beautiful girl. And your lay lady laughter has a right to be heard. But what can I give you if you've already got the word? That was a good line, huh? Which I thought was world originally. Don't go, don't start, don't take on the habit of the broken heart. Like, don't perhaps metaphorically or symbolically, don't give up the things that you take pleasure in. Don't give in or take on the habit, like a nunnery. Go to a nunnery and you can't indulge in any of these pleasures or any of these things. Don't put on the habit of a broken heart. Actually, that's a really great title. Don't hide yourself away just because you've been hurt once. In the sense of perhaps you've gone through a bad relationship once and that it's made you want to symbolically take on this habit and not put yourself out there again. But don't let one bad experience ruin it and ruin possible good opportunities in the future. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That was really nicely written. And for something so sweet like that too. Like I said, it's a very encouraging track with the music to back it up. Let's hit the Siren song.
Letters in pencil, some of them as heavy as lead, as dated as carbon, as black as coal, but burning as red. Faintly stenciled, the message, though leached, is unbled, as secret as marble, as young, as old, as living, as dead, and always that laugh that comes as though it's from hate, lashed to the mast, still it hammers round my brain. Laughter in the backbone, laughter possibly wise, that same laughter that always comes every time.
Piano's so light.
On that look in your eye, which whispers of a black zone, which will mark all my credos, whose lies where logic is done.
There's almost something Bowie-esque to the sound of this.
Time will smash every theory I devise. Or when the hourglass is shattered, only by the magic of your touch, and when nothing really matters, no, nothing.
Quiet.
Oh yes, and it courses through my veins like champagne, and with all the sweet kisses of addiction, it's calling me to break my bonds again.
fun. That very bassy sound happening behind, wrapping everything together. Walk into heaviness here. Oh, that bass.
Rejoicing in the search and the grab on with all but the bag.
So uplifting.
The impossible dare. Still your laugh chills my marrow till I embrace it on my knees. Or when the mask becomes a black hole.
Doesn't he sound like Bowie here? I wonder what that sound is that's happening the whole time throughout this song. Because that sound is there pretty much the whole way through that. Wow, wow, wow. I'm assuming it's something on synth, or I don't know. I couldn't really exactly tell you. And something I forgot to mention when we got into this album is that obviously the album title is, The Quiet Zone, The Pleasure Dome. And side 1 of this album is given the title of The Quiet Zone, while side 2 is The Pleasure Dome. So I should have mentioned that because I guess to an extent that may play into the music itself, because for the most part, this side is relatively more reserved and a little bit more quiet and spacious. This track especially, in the very beginning, before it kind of hits that halfway meltdown, so to speak, it has a lot of space to it. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of quiet melodies. Hamill sings very much under his breath in a quieter tone as well, and the music is approached that way. There's still those moments where, of course, the music comes up a little bit more, as we heard in Siren song, but it's overall much more reserved. And if the album's going to move forward in this direction, it's really cool to kind of have this little escalation, and then I'm assuming when we get to Pleasure Dome, it's going to really, really come off in a completely different way, or at least to an extent. It's just a nice way to pace the album and to give you different flavors as you're listening to it. Once again, this is another slow cooked kind of track, but I love that middle section in which everyone gets involved. The bass, it sounds fretless and it has some sort of effect on it, and the way the bass plays with Hamill's voice is really, really incredible. The violin, once again, coming in wonderfully, and it eventually leads into kind of through a dark tunnel in that break, but it leads into this light, inspiring open moment at the very end of that, which is really nicely climactic and really satisfying to listen to. Let me see if I can pull that up here. And it's so dark. This is the dark tunnel section to me, but the other side of it, especially when the violin comes in, basically that sound has been there the whole time. That and this song actually reminded me a lot of like a David Bowie track. It just sounds like something that he would sing on when Hamill was singing, like in the more quiet moments, like here. This sounds like something right around like Ziggy Stardust era, something like right around there. It just sounds like it could be something that Bowie would sing. Letters in pencil, some of them heavy as lead. Makes sense. As dated as carbon, as black as coal, but burning as red. Clues faintly stenciled, the message, though leached, is unbled. As secret as marble, as young as old, as living as dead, and always that laugh that comes as though it's from pain. Though I'm lashed to the mast, still it hammers round my brain. Laughter in the backbone, laughter impossibly wise. That same laughter that always comes every time I flash on that look in your eyes, which whispers of a black zone which will mock all my credos as lies, where all logic is done and time will smash every theory I devise, and the hourglass is shattered only by the magic of your touch, where nothing really matters, no, nothing matters very much. Okay, I got to think about this one a little bit more. So the Siren song runs through the ages, oh yes, and it courses through my veins like champagne. And with all the sweet kisses of addiction, it's calling me to break my bonds again. So what is this Siren song, and what does it represent? Future memory exploding like shrapnel. Some splinters escape on my tongue. Some of them scar comprehension. Beneath the scab they burn, but the wound becomes numb. And always the song draws me forward, rejoicing in the search and the prayer. Bored with all but the mad, the strange, the freak, the impossible dare. Still your laugh chills my marrow till I embrace it on my knees. Oh, when the mass becomes a flagpole, what becomes of me? What becomes of me? This one's a little cryptic to me. I think the secret is finding out what the song is and what that represents. Obviously, a siren song is something that calls to you, and you have to heed its voice, like a siren. But that beautiful voice could also lead you to rocky shores and, of course, your watery grave. So what is the siren song in which is calling to him? Whispers from a black zone which mock all my credos as lies. Is it this person? Because he says, that look in your eyes and this other person. Does this other person make him weak, in a sense? Is the siren song that runs through the ages love? Honestly, could be. It could be. And if you listen to that siren song, it could make you want to take on the habit of the broken heart. Perhaps. Let's move on to the next track here, which is the last track on the Quiet Zone on this side of the album, which is appropriately named Last Frame. Just a thrum. Almost playing like Jobson a little bit. I like that intro a lot.
Pretty keen. Yes, my hobby keeps me busy. And if I talk to myself, well, that's not a crime.
It's true.
In the dark room, I am a dealer in space and time. When our memory has mellowed, when the photograph is yellowed, still it never lies.
It's a good line.
There you are.
There you are.
Your eyes lace with secret pleasure.
There's that jazziness from the strumming.
Sing that you're on the way to change. If I live
This is a rich tapestry of melodies here.
in ordinary measure, every diversion that's arranged, for every appetite or cruel attraction, but there's a magic in your action. Oh, I never saw you look so strange.
That sounds like something classic Van de Graaf right here.
Fixing memory can be clean, holding time on the stop clock, hanging back from that last frame, just in case it doesn't show you in the way I used to know.
There's a lot of great
Oh,
performances.
I thought you'd always stay the
Great solo. Now that's a violin solo. That's like Jobson. That dirty guitar solo. Dirty guitar solo. A lot of cool like sounds here. I love that rumble. It's a cool ending right there. This was so far my favorite song on the album. This one had everything. Excellent groove, musical experimentation. When all the band members are playing at the same time here, it really felt like this rich tapestry of sound that they were all weaving and jamming together. And the way that all these different materials came through and the different colors and shades that it provided was really, really cool. The groove in the first half is excellent, and the way that the drums beat into that is really, really excellent, that transition. And we do get some classic bigger Hamill moments here, you know, the more frightening tones from his voice in this track. This one has a little of everything. The violin added a huge dimension here. The soloing was excellent. The violin playing here kind of reminded me of Jobson a little bit, and just like I guess now that I think about like that jazz fusion violin aspect, it reminded me of that in the approach here. This one kind of had everything and was a perfect ending to this side of the album. Now, I don't know exactly what the next side's going to bring, but I think that this last frame was like the last thing of goodness I remember. It's a great way to end because it leaves a satisfying taste in your mouth at the end of this meal of the first half of the album. Let me see if I can find the constant drum changes and the structural tempo changes back and forth were really nice. Let me see. I'm trying to find one here. This was just such a great solo. Listen to the guitar coming through as well with the violin, and they maintain that very, very cool groove throughout. So whether they make it a little bit more aggressive, back off a little bit, and give it more space. Once again, that contrast that they play with rhythmically is really, really excellent. This is, to me, so far the best track on the album. But we got a little bit more to go. Pretty keen. Yes, my hobby keeps me busy. And if I talk to myself, well, that's not a crime. In the dark room, I am a dealer in space and time. I like that, this photographer. When all memory is mellowed, when the photograph is yellowed, still, it never lies, right? You capture a moment in time. It can't lie. No chat GPT for a printed out photograph that you took. There you are, your eyes laced with secret pleasures, saying that you're on the way to change, devouring in inordinate measure every diversion that's arranged. For every appetite a cruel attraction, but there's a panic in your actions. Oh, I never saw you look so strange. Fixing memory chemically. I like that, right? You dip the photo into, I don't know, the black, what is it, like when you're actually taking photos. What is that room called? I just read it. Just in the dark room. I don't know like what they put it in and all that stuff. I didn't have photography class when I was in school. We did, but I only remember taking like being in that class like one day, and then I switched. Fixing memory chemically, holding time on the stop clock, hanging back from the last frame. I took home ec instead. It was much more useful. I learned to cook and stuff. Come on. Just in case it doesn't show you in the way I used to know you. Oh, I thought you'd always stay the same, right? The photograph stays the same, but the person in it, or the subject in it, does not. Oh, the red light, the silver, the black, and the bromide, and the silence, the waiting for overview. Wasn't this from Gog and Magog, if I remember correctly? The past seems underexposed, low tide, still the images goes through, and you're there in the bath, which is all this has led to you, the bath of the whatever the photographs are dipped into. Not literally a picture of someone in the bath. And I can't say your path is the right one to choose, but then I only have a negative of you. What a killer ending line there. What a brilliant ending line. The photograph he has as a negative. That how, and of course this could symbolically mean so much more. But how brilliant is that? This was also, I think, the best written track at this particular point in the album. That was really good. Let us go ahead and move forward into the second side of the album. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed listening to this alongside with me. Hopefully you've already pressed the like button. You're already subscribed. You're already all that fun stuff. And you're moving on with me. So out of the quiet zone and into the pleasure dome with the first track, The Wave. A little how do you do? Or a little how do you do that? I can't do it. Calm and introspective.
Than a hunch, oh, still we try to eat it. I think we're all pretty out to lunch.
Some drama.
The wave is out of reach.
Right back to you.
Trailing
That last note of drama.
And with each bated breath, so present tense,
See, there's these moments.
we want to
That's just come
know, we want it sure, it don't make sense, so I'll do mine, and you do yours,
Basically.
but let's not trace and see for brick and cement. The wave hits the beach, laps around abandoned pose, wants to share, joke with those who brave the breakers, who break bread rather than
Violin.
pray, while the definition makers lost in the small print of the day. Oh, the words are only pictures that the next wave wipes
I mean, there is the wave. I just want to say that the escalation in this song was so intense and beautiful. The way it begins at really something very spacious and bare, as a lot of the tracks kind of have, and the way it evolves and constantly progresses into something like hair-raising. At the end of every like run there of the notes there was that very dissonant, sharp kind of tone that, to me, hinted, of course, at something darker, kind of coming up later. And we did have a moment of that, but it really quickly, escalated even past that to just a big climax at the end. The violin playing from Graham in this track was especially wonderful, especially as it made that final turn, because it really sounded like almost an orchestra. It had a big sound to it, even though it's just Graham. There's not like a string section. It's just him there. And I really think that the swing of music that he performed was just this grand, majestic kind of turn. And then, of course, has it climax into the very ending there. It was super, super well done and very notable. And once again, the way that Evans plays drums. In this album, we haven't heard anything that at least sounds overly complicated. Just sounds like that. And yet, the way that he controls the rhythm of the music and chooses when to release that extra pent-up potential and kinetic energy into the music is really, really well done. As the music progresses and becomes more intense, he starts adding more kicks, more crashes, but he does so in a really very slow roll kind of way, which I love how that's done. And Peter Hamill, Hamill's just doing kind of the same thing, just holding it back, letting a little go before that rush to the end. Almost a waterfall from the river of this track, you could say. The wave hits the beach, writing words on the sand. To the academic man, this could be the answer. In fact, it's no more than a hunch, and still we try to eat it. I think we're all pretty out to lunch. And right there at the end of the line, that's when that first sharp chord came in, really kind of frightening and upsetting the scenery. The wave is out of reach, trailing words from the hand. Only air can understand. Semaphore on the shoreline, waiting for the distance to recede, unhappily imperfect, when we should be happy just to breathe. But with each bated breath so present tense, we want to know, we want it sure. It don't make sense. So I'll do mine and you do yours, but let's not trade sand and sea for brick and cement. That's a good line too. The wave hits the beach, laps around abandoned clothes, wants to share a joke with those who will brave the breakers, who will go in the woods, who will break bread rather than pray, while the definition makers lost in the small print of the day. That's another good line. Oh, the words are only pictures that the next wave wipes away. The impermanence of things. But sometimes that impermanence is beauty. Let's not, where did he say it? Let's not trade sand and sea for brick and cement. Let's not try to solidify something or make a foundation on something that is inherently going to change. And let's not, for lack of a better word, as Joni Mitchell said it, pave over paradise. So there's that part of it. But then there's also, while the definition makers, who's making the definitions of things? And those definitions, it's lost in the small prints of the day. Things are defined, sure, but as the day goes on, life goes on, certain things that are established or are defined can change just based on context and timely context. There's a lot to think about on this track. The waves writing words on the sand could be the answer. It says, in fact, it's no more than a hunch, and we still try to eat it. Even if we don't have the complete picture, we still try to consume it and digest that. And then Peter says, I think we're all pretty out to lunch. We're not even close. There's a lot a lot to dive into with that track, with the lyrics. I love a good track from Hamill that has deep, thoughtful lyrics, as most of his do. But it's always a pleasure to come across those in the Pleasure Dome. Here's the clap. Please clap. Let's go ahead and listen to the next track here, which is Cat's Eye / Yellow Fever Running. Here we go. Okay. Completely different. Something that's like Muse would come up with later on.
I was walking in the evening. I was looking for something good, clean, fine, pure, straight. But instead I found a bunker wall and gate.
Okay.
It was over! I was free! I never took a guarantee! Though I later knew I had promised more. With an eye on you, I could scarcely score my way. But when I
Big
had
Bill.
apocalypse, anyway, I was a prime believer in the fake of eye. Yellow fever in the cat's eye.
There's a lot happening. This is a crazy one. Adding the hi-hats in now. This one. This track. Perhaps a best of moment. What a brilliant moment this is. I don't even know what this bubbly sound is. Okay, so we have two best tracks on the album. Last Frame, and then Cat's Eye / Yellow Fever Running. This is, now we're getting back to that Van der Graaf weirdness that I expect. This is the one. This is the one that sounds most like themselves. The bass is aggressive. Potter, just... And then Evans, the drumming. This is intense. It's weird. It's unique. And that's what makes it Van der Graaf Generator. This is this is a good one. Is this track just talking about a cat? Is it just thinking he's a cat? It's just personifying. And then the ending, the violin portion. That's just a moment for Graham to do his thing. Here's a few minutes, served to you on a platter. Do with it what you will and what you must. And he does will. And he do must. Just an incredible section there. And how wonderful is it that that's the ending? Like, that's the outro to that particular track. Something so powerful and intense as that was. Peter's vocal performance, this is showing off once again that range that we've all come to know and love. And he does it brilliantly. The speaking portion reminded me of Discipline era King Crimson a little bit. You know, and just the way he's kind of speaking coldly over the music as it begins. And then, of course, it goes on from there. This is a great track. And the ending, I think, is possibly one of the best moments in this album so far, if I do say so myself. I was walking in the evening. I was looking for something good, clean, fine, pure, straight. But instead, I found the bunker wall and gate. It was open. I was free. And this is where the adventure begins. A little, what was that movie called? The old, was it 80s and 90s? Homeward Bound? Remember that one with the 3 pets? It was open. I was free. I gave a token guarantee, though I later knew I had promised more. With an IOU, I could scarcely score my way. Oh, but I herald the apocalypse anyway. I was a prime believer in the faith of something. Yellow fever in the cat's eye. And it's everything you want. It's everything you own. It's everything you love, you hate. You touch, you dream, you trust, you need. I got a heart like a rocket. I was out of control. I'd cleaned out my pockets for some luck to show. Really looking like a hopeless case. I found it in my hand. It was the angry ace. He wants to talk to me one-on-one. He wants to give me his professional opinion. But I'm running. I just can't wait. I haven't got a moment to anticipate. Yes, I'm running. Just can't stop. Got to get to the bottom just to get to the top. Okay. I've got the dark alleys and the open skies. I got the yellow fever from the cat's eye. I'll let you know how it goes in the 9th life. I think he's just talking from the point of view of a cat. I really could be reading it incorrectly. And of course, taking some poetic license from Hamill. But I do believe that this is just a night in the life of a cat. Or I could be oversimplifying it and it could be something completely different. Regardless, definitely a huge standout on the album. Let's go and listen to the next track here, which is going to be called The Sphinx in the Face. Kind of, I guess, appropriately coming off of the, cat's eye. The Sphinx in the Face. It's a funky little bass. The violin hopping on too.
I remember what it felt like at 17. I was a cat, a snake, a lizard, a mouse. Still got an interest in the limousine and her spouse. And a rat. Country house, London flat. I'm gonna head for the island when the summer's out.
It almost sounds like Hamill's having fun on this one. Like
that I can. Drink like a fish in a water spout. I'm a fan of the flow. It began long ago. I'm a man who should know. It doesn't stop.
it sounds like it could be a Talking Heads part. It's funky here. I'll listen to the drumming. I would love to see how he's doing that pattern. Sounds like a very Canterbury Sea pattern.
There's so much to remember. There's so much to forget. We're all in the possession of the future tense, but don't know it yet. The flesh comes through the spirit through the flesh. We look the sphinx in the face for answers. Oh, and of course we're not a test.
Yep. Just turning it up.
Oh, when we get caught some days, caught between options we fail to play, such wasted chance.
And we're only 2
So I
minutes.
join the wastrel's dance. It has slow as well as fast movement. But any change will surely be an improvement. I'm simply fossilizing, standing still.
See, there's something R&B-esque in some of this. The violin shredding back there.
I'm on a steady rotation for the quiet zone. I just don't wait for the song to be sung.
It's a soul line.
I'm possessed by the promise of the pleasure dome. You're so young. You're so old. You're so here. You're so gone. Such a drag
Catch it.
to be told. So here. You're so wrong. You're so young. You're so old. You're so clear. You're so strong. Such a drag to be told. So here. You're so gone. You're so young. You're so old. So here. You're so wrong. You're such a drag.
Such a drag. that back and forth. It's so snappy. I got this the outro. Like, this is just back and forth. There's almost a little Queen something to it.
You're so weird, you're so strong, you're so young, so old. You're so here, so gone, such a drag to be told.
I like the effect of fading out the music and leaving
You're
Hamill.
so near, you're so wrong, you're so young, you're so old. You're so queer, you're so strong, such a drag.
Do you think that when they were recording this track and the fade out was happening, do you think that like when they're all recording, like they're all doing it fully, they're all just playing, but then in the post-production, like they just started to isolate Hamill's vocals and just bring down the rest of the band to create that effect? Or do you think that the band actually just slowed down and stopped playing or whatever, or, you know, lowered the volume until Hamill was left isolated? I'm curious how that was done. I'm leaning with the first though. This is going back to the not quirky, but perhaps somewhat theatrical side of Van der Graaf Generator, leaning towards the more dramatic takes, especially with the ending. How that's almost acting as the chorus throughout this track, especially in the beginning when it first begins to appear, but then also kind of used as the outro, that ga 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 ba da da da. Evan's drumming. Oh. Evan's drumming. The way that he once again starts off with this, I don't even know, this more understated kind of drumming about the halfway through point, and then eventually just erupts and begins adding more and more flavors and layers into the drumming pattern, into that groove. Huge talent, obviously. But like, it's just hugely talented how he does that and how he really brings a sort of escalation into the music just strictly with the drums, and does it so tastefully that it doesn't take away from anything. It only adds more and more and more. Violin, once again, kind of doing something similar and just adding more and more flavor into this. And the quirkiness from Hamill's vocals and his delivery here makes this a very... I was trying to try and make a sphinx fun. A sphinx pun. I was going to say it's puzzling, but it wasn't the word I wanted to use. But I like how, especially off the back of the previous track, this kind of continues that more energetic, absurdist, you know, theatrical kind of sound from Van der Graaf, as opposed to some of the more empty stylings of the first half. So I do like how, to an extent, this is kind of following what I kind of originally said, where I think that this side was going to be a little bit more adventurous or experimental in a more louder way, as to the contrast to the quiet side at the beginning. I remember what it felt like at 17. I was a cat, a snake, a lizard, a mouse. Still got an interest in the limousine, and a spouse and a brat, country house, London flat. All these things you think of when you're a kid. I'm going to head for the island when the summer's out. I'm going to do all the stuff that I can. Drink like a fish in a water spout. I'm a fan of the flow. It began long ago. I'm a man who should know it doesn't stop. And his Hamill singing is so funny in here. The little a cappella run he does. There's so much to remember, so much to forget. We're all in the possession of the future tense, but don't know it yet. That's another great line. And he mentioned the present tense before in the other track. The flesh comes through the spirit through the flesh. We look the Sphinx in the face for answers, and of course, we're not impressed. Yeah, go for knowledge. We've seen that in movies, right? Like the character finally, you know, gets to this mythical beast or this godlike figure. They ask them a question, and the figure tells them the answer, and they're like, that's it. Or, you know, that's not the answer I was looking for. Well, buddy, got some news for you. We're caught between age and beauty, experience and youth, so we feel the need acutely for any kind of truth. That's another great line. This whole verse was really good. Oh, but we get copped some days, caught between options we fail to play. Sus wasted chance, so I joined the wastrel's dance. It has slow as well as fast movements, and any change must surely be an improvement on simply fossilizing, standing still. So whether the dance, so to speak, is fast or slow, it's still better than standing still and not moving at all. I got a steady vocation for the quiet zone. I just can't wait for the song to be sung. Okay, we're referencing the previous tracks here. I'm still possessed, and the album, of course. I'm still possessed by the promise of the pleasure dome. You're so young, you're so old, you're so here, you're so gone. And that's where that chant begins. So I feel like this is very important here. I got a steady vocation for the quiet zone. Like, that's where he spends most of his time, his steady vocation. I just can't wait for the song to be sung, as mentioned in the previous track, right? I'm still possessed by the promise, the hope, the looking forward to of the pleasure dome. That's what he's looking forward to, while as of right now, he's in this quiet zone, whatever this represents. Such a drag to be told, you're so here, you're so gone. You're so young, you're so old, you're so near, you're so wrong. Such a drag to be told, you're so queer, you're so strong. You're so young, you're so old, you're so here, you're so gone. Like this constant flux of change and movement. The flow of time was only moving to one place. And even though the flow of time is moving towards an end, you can still have hope, even if you find yourself in the quiet zone. I think. I don't know. Even if the answer or the way you move out of the quiet zone isn't the way you thought you'd move out of it, at least you're moving. Whatever all of that represents. Next track, which is going to be Chemical World. Wasn't that a level in Sonic 2? No, that's Chemical Plant. I think that if I remember the music, it went. That's a great sound. Boom, boom. Okay, here we go.
Well, what's the harm? It's good, clean fun. Why don't you just go on and have another one?
Another what?
When there's hanky-panky in the boardroom, woolly-woolly on the farm. Well, what's the harm? It's quite alright. I mean to say, tomorrow's just another day.
Gotta catch the movement. This really does remind me of like Jethro Tull and Goff putting them together. It sounds folky and space rock. Evans. Get a little of everything in this track. This part sounds like something Tool would have done later on. With that riff and the sustained note crying in the back. Doesn't this sound... Obviously this is before, but doesn't this sound like Tool? Right back to the folk.
You can't escape. Fast overnight.
These weird sounds bubbling around.
But in the morning, but in the morning, will the market have turned? Will there be no more days left to trade in the chemical world?
Big bass. I love how Evans jumped right there. One last time.
So slow to pass. It's just a drug. It doesn't last.
It doesn't last at all. It's there and then it's gone. This to me is like, this is, it, for me, one of the most complicated tracks. but still one of the most pleasing ones. I love the back and forth between the classic Van de Graaf generator harshness and, you know, those more monstrous tones and the darker themes that we explore. And then the incredible contrast of da, 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 that light folky acoustic guitar with Hamill just once again melodically cooing the lyrics to us. The contrast between the way he sings that and the music, you know, how harsh it is previously, is really, really cool to listen to, and the way that all the musicians play in here, especially Evans. Once again, his drumming is just incredible, off the charts. The ending, especially when he started bringing the playing on the toms there, was just really, really cool. And the violin, once again, is a really, really nice kind of replacement for, you know, I guess the lack of Banton and David and the sax and the organ. I won't lie, I do miss those. There's no doubt about that. But I do think the violin is a great choice to replace those and to bring a different sound, right? I do really enjoy the contributions from Graham. And the bass, Potter, deep, deep bass at certain moments. And once again, like I said, you get a really nice contrast and diversity in Hamill's voice and the way he sings. I mean, this track could have been the title track and called Quiet Zone Pleasure Dome, because of the contrast between the quiet zone of this track and, I guess, the louder pleasure zones or pleasure domes. Well, what's the harm? It's good, clean fun. Why don't you just go on and have another one? When there's hanky-panky in the boardroom, woolly-bully on the farm, well, what's the harm? It's quite all right. I mean to say, tomorrow's just another day. Enjoy your life. Live your life. Oh, but in the morning haze, will you still feel as fine? Will you still need to trade day for night? Like, what are the after effects, the hangover, so to speak? In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. In the country of the sheep, they call him Cyclops. And the quality of mind is such a tenuous thing. But here you need it like a blind man needs eye drops. You don't need to have a quality of mind. You don't need to be intelligent to indulge in those pleasure domes, those pleasurable things. That's a great line. Get out of that back room. This vacuum, it attracts you, but in fact, you just don't know quite what it is. You're being sapped of everything. You're once highly valued, so highly. Will you still feel as strong? Will you still long for weakness to come? It's a chemical world. It's a chemical world. Not a candidate ever fails. Though you search for the Holy Grail, you're not going to find it in the chemical world. I just think he's talking about drugs. And even if not necessarily drugs, drug-like things in the chemical world. A sleeper train you can't escape. Fast overnight, the ticker tape. Oh, but in the morning haze, will the market have turned? Will there be no more days left to trade? It's the chemical world. Like if you're in the chemical world, then, obviously you're not thinking about real life and your mind might be a little foggy, but that doesn't mean that, just because you're in the chemical world, life still goes on. So pay attention to it. And from the moment that it's embraced, it's the chemical world. All the diamonds turn to paste in the chemical world. Yeah, you think you look so pretty. It's going to blow up in your face. And at the very end, it's just the time, so slow to pass. It's just the drug. It doesn't last. It's not reality. It's not forever. In some cases, thankfully. So snap out of it and come back to reality. Let's go ahead and finish out the album with the final track here. I'm assuming referencing the Sphinx in the Face. We're going to listen to The Sphinx Returns. Here we go.
So near, so wrong, so young.
Oh, we are back to that.
You're so old. You're so queer, you're so strong, such a drag.
Just fade it back in.
So near, so wrong, so young. You're so old. So near, so wrong, such a drag.
I like how they brought this back at the end.
You're so queer, you're so strong, so young. You're so old.
I hear you, Evans.
So near, you're so wrong, such a drag. To be told. You're so queer, you're so strong,
And the sax are turning.
you're so old. You're so queer, you're so strong, such a drag.
Just a little outro for the album. Just a little outro for the album. I don't know if I've ever heard a band or in an album them fade out from one track and then use that track to fade in as the ending of the album, which I think that is so funny. The Sphinx returns and it just picks up literally where it left off. It literally just picks up. I love that fade out, of course, leaving Hamill's voice isolated from the previous track, and then this one they do the exact opposite and bring everybody right back in. And of course, Evans was still going off. And it seems, I guess, in this track, you did have some Jackson. You hear the saxophone very, very briefly and very, very lightly in there. And the lyrics are the same as from The Sphinx in the Face. So no reason really to go over those again. But I just think that is so cool. I love how that comes back. That was really, really cool. This album was a fun one to listen to. As of right now, like I said, I do rate this ahead of World Record. Also, I haven't listened to that one recently, so I'd need to listen to it again to get a more accurate and, recent opinion on it. But this one was really, really fun to listen to. My favorite tracks, obviously, like I said, Last Frame and Cat's Eye. I think that those are the two tracks that really stand out to me and really make a huge impact. And I'm always curious to hear what other people's favorite tracks are. What does everybody else like? Because that's what I like. I don't know what everyone else's opinions of this album are, but I can read that down below in the comments. So definitely go ahead and do that for me. And once again, thank you to everyone that suggested the album. Thank you, David, for the sponsorship in this album as well. Really, really appreciate that. And of course, as you guys just saw on the screen a second ago, if you'd like to bump up your request for songs and such, then you can do that on the Buy Me a Coffee page, just like David did. You can, of course, go on the Patreon, share the videos, and all of that other stuff. Hope you enjoyed your time here with me. Hope you enjoyed whether it's the morning you're watching this, the afternoon, evening, settling down at night. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Come on back tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll have something for you on the platter. And I will see you all then. Bye, guys.